That's 2 last preseason games, 2 losses, combined 5-0. Now, as you know, I don't put a lot of stock into the preseason because these games don't matter, right? They're about getting the players ready, up to game speed. You saw today that Eunice started, Osimhen started. They came off the bench last time. Sane joined camp this week. He came in and played. Jakobs joined camp this week. He didn't play. Abdul Karim came in the second half last week. He played extended minutes today. Davidson still isn't in camp, so Arda Unai is playing a lot, which is good for him. And so it's not the result that's bothering me. It's the pattern. The pattern that's bothering me. This is a rerun of last season. It's like watching the same episode of Sex and Lair or Friends that you've seen 20 times before. Last season, teams that set back, didn't attack, they waited to counter, wanted us to unlock them. We had a very difficult time doing that last year. That's exactly what happened today. You saw in the first half, the announcer got super excited because we had a break. We had a fast break. There were 3 Galatasaray players. Well, there were 5 Valencia players. Soon there were 7. So, we weren't going to surprise them. And we had a tough time last year. We had I think 1 or 2 goals off of corners, set piece goals. We were bad last year. You have to have someone that can unlock those defenses. We didn't have that last year. And so we still don't have it. Eunice isn't that person. Sarah's not that person. If the season started today, it's going to be Osimhen up top, Barish, Sane, and I guess Eunice at 10. That's going to have to be the solution for Spore, right? We're 19 days away from the season starting. Ocon said yesterday in a press conference that he knows we're impatient. He knows that we want transfers, and they're trying to get the best players possible. Now, on that front, if you didn't see it, we have our first piece of merchandise available on the channel. It's the Transfers Nerede t-shirt, and we also have our Galatasaray Show coffee cups in the store as well. So if you want to check those out, there's a link somewhere on here. So that's kind of exciting. First time we've done that. But if you look at last season, over the 38 games, we deserved to be champions. We earned it. But we had a much harder time scoring in games than we had the previous 3 seasons when Mertens was playing. It was just obvious that we were just probing, and, we couldn't find it. And let's admit it, we had some lucky breaks. Fenerbahce dropping points and they probably shouldn't have sure helped us in the league. The game against Juventus at home when they went down to 10 men and we were scoring at will in the second half. If that hadn't happened, who knows if we move on from there. But we did. We did all that. But think how much more we could have done with a number 10 last year. We'd have blown the league out. We might have beaten Liverpool. And that's what we hope to do this season, right? We hope to win the league easier where it's not as stressful on the teams. We can rest more starters. And we definitely want to go farther than we did in the Champions League last year. But as you saw today, we're just crossing balls, looking, getting dispossessed. It's not working without a number 10. We're just too predictable in the attack. And there's too much film on us from last year that these teams are going to watch. Look, this Valencia, they're a team that's moving up to Serie A, so they're going to be in Italy's top flight, but they were in the 2nd division last year. But this is a better test than any that we've had so far, and this is the worst beating that we've taken in any of these friendly games. I mean, it all came after the 77th minute when the subs came on, but that's kind of irregardless because Barish came in, was probably the best player on the field, despite grabbing the guy's jersey and, get the yellow card. But yeah, even with those quality players on the field. We were still getting beat, and then Barsh misses the penalty. Bless his heart, but Osimhen was off. So Barsh gets the penalty. They give him the penalty, and he misses the penalty. So thank God it's the preseason. Thank goodness it's 19 days before the first game. So let's talk about why this really matters, this number 10. The timing piece. You know, with your creative midfielder or a number 10 type of player, that they've got to have their timing down. They've got to know how fast Barsh runs, where Sane's going to cut, where Osimhen likes the ball. You don't come into camp on day one and know all that. You just don't. You saw it when Osimhen joined the team. It took him a while to understand where the ball was going to come from for him to be effective. And so if we sign the number 10 today, and this guy from Bayern Munich, man, somebody made a almost 3-hour video on the transfer of this Muslara guy from Bayern Munich. We can't pay this guy's wages. Like, that's crazy to me. You didn't see me tweet, Instagram, nothing about that because that just seemed nuts to me. But if whoever it is, this guy, John Uzun, I don't know, if we signed him today, they're not even going to be ready by Chorumspor because it's 19 days away. They're not going to be ready the second week of the season. And that's if they came in today. And so every day we wait, we're going to fall behind. So it's a problem. We've been trying to fix this since last season. And so it's been over a year now. We've been trying to fix our problem at the 10 position, and we still haven't got it done. Are we going to do it? I would assume that we're going to, but I don't know how we're going to effectively attack going into the season without this number 10. I mean, do you have any idea? Do you see somebody sitting on the bench? Because I don't. We don't have any young Turk player that's going to do it. Our boy Big Les that we signed from Burnley, he's a defensive midfielder. So we got a defensive midfielder. You know, it's not time to panic. We've got time, but every day that goes by puts us behind a little more. Example I can give you, Göztepe. Göztepe last season finished just out of Europe. I think there were 3 points. Going into the last day, they might have had a chance if they hadn't dropped so many points in August and September. They dropped points at home to Kayserispor, Kasımpaşa, Antalyaspor. All these points that they dropped in September that they probably thought weren't that important. If they had won any of those games, they would have been playing for Europe on the last weekend of the season, right? And so these points you drop in September because your club's not ready, these games are just as important as the games in April and May. The points in April and May don't count for more than the points in August and September. And if you don't think Chorumspor and anybody that we play, they're not going to have their A game ready for us, just go back and look at Pendikspor from last season. Pendikspor didn't win the league. Pendikspor didn't go to Europe. But man, were they ready for us? I didn't see them playing that way against Kasımpaşa. I didn't see them playing that way against Konyaspor. But when champion Galatasaray came to town, everybody's ready. They can't all get it done, but we're going to get everybody's best shot, whether it's week 1, week 10, or week 30. And so the fact that we still don't have the number 10, we don't have a backup striker. Osimhen can't play every minute of every game. We've seen him get hurt, right? He gets hurt. He's not a big person. He's a physical forward. He's a pressing forward. That's just part of his game. So he'll get injured. That's just how it is. And so you've got to have a good backup for him. And they say, trust him and wait. Well, we're waiting. So hopefully it's not too much longer, because the players that we have today, I'm usually a positive guy, but the players we have today, this team that we have today, isn't going to win the Super League. I mean, Noah Lang, one of our most effective players, he's gone. So we're losing players, but we're not bringing them in yet. And this team, we don't need just new players for the skill. We need new players for the locker room to energize that locker room. We want that fifth title, but it gets kind of old hat doing the same thing with the same players, with the same coaches. So it's good to get new blood in there where they're going to hear Ocon for the first time, that they can be motivated to win the league for the first time. It's not going to be the fifth time for them. It'll be the first time for them. I think that's a very important piece as well. So that's all I have. That's what I wanted to talk about today. Is it's not these results that matter. It's the way that we're playing that's more concerning, because it's exactly like last year, except it's a little worse because we're thinner, because now we're missing Icardi and we're missing Noah Lang, who played a lot of minutes in those attacks, and now they're gone, and these new people are going to come in. They've got to have time to integrate, and it's almost August, 19 days to the first game, so bring those transfers on. Howdy, howdy, howdy. All right, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you're enjoying the content, think about subscribing. Oh, and shout out to my San Francisco Galatasaray Association. When I went to the Turkey of Australia game, one of their members gave this shirt to me, so this is very cool. A lion on the Golden Gate Bridge. I like it. So thanks again, and Hadi Mbuk Jimbom.